On to this story now. A grey list usually comes just before the blacklisting of a country, making it essential for countries such as South Africa to implement procedures to identify and minimize risk, especially with just over a year left to get off the grey list for South Africa. The Anti-Money Laundering and Financial Crime Southern Africa Summit pointed to some possible solutions, and Ntokozo Khumalo tells us this story and filed this report.
Implementing procedures to identify and minimize the risk to politically exposed persons took center stage on the second day of the Anti-Money Laundering and Financial Crimes Fraud Conference, an important conversation for South Africa that has until January 2025 to get off the grey list. The Reserve Bank's report on Phala Phala once again raised these concerns, with many analysts debating the de-risking of such individuals who dip into business as well. However, Moody's Analytics warns against this, adding that the theft does not prevent corporates and other institutions from servicing PEPs solely based on their status.
PEP is a very central area within financial crime prevention. And also, to be quite honest though, I mean, many countries actually de-risk PEPs, which are not the way to go. A PEP could actually be a very good client. You just need to be able to handle them in a correct way.
He adds that reliable global data would go a long way in reducing the risk.
They actually try to hide sometimes. They don't want to show themselves. They hide behind corporate structures and things like that. And then you need certain type of screening tools and data to be able to find them.
LexisNexis Risk Solutions financial crime compliance consultant David van Staden says each country's financial services stakeholders must, according to the guidelines, focus on their areas of concern.
As I mentioned, the example of South Africa and Africa in general, where there's wildlife trafficking happening, for example, gold mining, natural resources and precious metals and stones, for example. He
says South Africa is well on its way towards getting off the grey list, but that more work remains to be done.
The fast tracking on a legislative level was done quickly. I do think, however, in terms of our efficiency, I spoke about the immediate outcomes of FATF. That's really an area where we need to work on to actually, at the end of the day, yes, we're ticking the boxes. We have the risk assessments in place. We have the controls, the laws, everything. But how are we acting on this?
In February this year, the Financial Action Task Force put two of Africa's largest economy, South Africa and Nigeria, on the grey list, a move that is expected to have far-reaching economic setbacks. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Johannesburg.